Vonla, and this is Timmy here. Today I'm going to be doing my horse health check video. So the first thing you want to look at is their overall appearance. Is their coat shiny? Are their eyes nice and bright? They have a lot of expression in their ears, and overall he looks pretty good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to check are his mucous membranes. These can be checked on his gums or on his conjunctiva of the eyelid. So to check, I will tell him I am here so he is not shocked when I lift up his lip. I will look at the color, and they are a nice pink color and they are moist. So that is good and healthy. You do not want them to be fiery red, which could indicate fever or infection. If they're yellow, that could be an indication of jaundice. Blue could mean a lack of oxygen. If it's pale or white, it could be shock or anemia, and if it is dry, then that could mean dehydration. But his are a nice moist pink, so he is overall good. So the next thing I'm going to check are his capillary refill time. This is when you press your thumb on their gums, you wait until it is bleached out and white, and then you take it off, your thumb off, and the color should return within 1 to 2 seconds. If it is longer than that, that could indicate shock or dehydration. So I'm just going to tell him I'm here, lift his little thumb up, and the color returns within 1 to 2 seconds, so he is not dehydrated or in shock. So next I'm going to take Timmy's pulse. This should be between 32 and 44 beats per minute. You can take this on 2 different spots, the external maxillary artery, which is under the jaw, and the radial pulse, which is behind his knee. I'm going to demonstrate it on the external maxillary artery. So to take the pulse, I'm going to have Allie time for 10 seconds while I am taking the pulse. Then I will multiply the number I get by 6 to get what his beats per minute would be. So I'm going to tell Allie when I find the pulse so she can start timing. Okay, you can start. So I got 5. 6 times 5 is 30. This is slightly under the range of 32 to 44, but he has been standing here for a while, so he is currently at rest, and he usually has a lower heart rate. So that is pretty normal for him. So next I'm going to take his digital pulse. If he had a foot injury, this would be a bounding pulse. Usually without a foot injury, it is pretty difficult to find, and you don't take his pulse rate on this. You just want to see if it's there or not, and if it is bounding, to see if this is he has an issue. So to take this, you are behind the fetlock, and you always want to make sure they know you're here. And his is very, very faint, so he does not have any foot issues in this foot, which we didn't think he did, so that is good. So next I'm going to be taking his heart rate. To do this, I will be using a stethoscope, and I will be placing it on his heart girth, which is right there. The range should be between 32 and 44 beats per minute, and it should be the same as his pulse was. But if there's a lot of time in between, or if something happens in between, then it could go up. So I'm going to have Allie be my timer again. I'll have her time for 10 seconds, and then I will multiply it by 6 to get his beats per minute. So I got 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. That is in between the normal range. It is a little higher than his pulse rate was, but there was a lot of time in between the two taken, so that would account for that. So next I will be checking his respiratory rate. This should be between 8 and 16 breaths per minute. To do this, I will watch his flank rise and fall, and I will have Allie time me again for the 10 seconds, and then I will multiply it by 6. So I got 1, which would be 6. This is lower than the range, but he has been standing here for a pretty significant amount of time at this point. So he is very at rest and very relaxed. So this is not something to be worried about, especially since all of his other vital signs were good so far. To do this, you will take a little pinch of skin, pull it up, and then watch it go flat. His did take about 2 seconds, but that is okay for Timmy since he is older. So next I'm going to do the skin pinch test. This is where I will tent the skin on his shoulder and neck area. This is to see how dehydrated he is, if he is dehydrated at all. It should pop back down flat within 1 to 2 seconds. Now Timmy is an older horse, so his might take a little longer because his skin is not as pliable at this point. But so next I'm going to be taking Timmy's temperature. To do this, I can do it with a digital or a mercury thermometer. With the digital, it will read a little lower and a little less accurate than the mercury thermometer. Now his temperature should be in the range of 99 to 101.5. So when you're putting in a thermometer, you want to use some type of lubricant. So we use petroleum jelly. And then you want to make sure that you put the thermometer in at a slight angle into the anus, just so it doesn't stick into any poop, because that would give you an incorrect temperature reading. So I'm going to do the digital thermometer first. I'm going to put some petroleum jelly on it. You don't want to just stick the thermometer in the petroleum jelly, because that would be highly unsanitary. So I want to make sure he always knows where I am. I will lift the tail, make sure it's at a slight angle, make sure it's on, then wait for the beep. So his is at 100, which is very normal. It is in between the 99 and 101.5 range. So now I'm going to be doing my mercury thermometer. I'm going to put some petroleum jelly on this as well. Also not wanting to stick it in there, as that is not cleanly. And then I'm going to shake it down so that it is below at least 98, so that it would get an accurate read. And always make sure he knows where you are. Now this will stay in for 2 minutes, so it will be clipped to his tail so that he doesn't suck it up in there, because that would be bad. So my timer just went off, and so now I'm going to take it out. I unclip it, and now I'm taking it out and reading the temperature. I'll wipe it off a little bit. on this it says his temperature is 101. It is a little hotter in this barn right now, so that could be why his temperature is a little higher. It could also be higher when horses are at work or if it's really, really hot outside. Usually if they're at rest, it can drop a little bit, but his is pretty normal. It did read higher than the digital thermometer, which is normal since the digital usually does read lower than the mercury, which is more accurate. So now I'm going to be doing my gut sounds. It is, you want to check the 4 quadrants, the upper and lower on both sides. You want it to be a low gurgling noise. You do not want there to be no noise. That could indicate a blockage or colic. And you don't want it to be a rushing noise, which would mean hypermodal. You just put an ear to it, or you can use a stethoscope. So both of those have just low gurgles, which is very good. And then I'm going to move to the other side. I'm going to make sure he knows that I'm coming. So both of those were also low rumbles, which is very good. Went over all of Timmy's vital signs. They were all very good. He seems to be in very good health, which is accurate for how he looked in the beginning, just overall appearance-wise. So that just backed up the thought that he was in good health. Thanks to Timmy here for being a very willing participant.